Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks are headed to the Western Conference Finals after a 30-point beatdown of the Phoenix Suns in Game 7 of the Western Conference Semis in Phoenix. Matt, I got a very simple question for you. Is the Phoenix Suns championship window closed, just being a year removed from an appearance in the NBA Finals now?
You know, and the crazy thing is that we are only a year removed from them being an unbelievably hot team. They were still the number one team in the NBA this year as far as regular season goes.
Yep. 64 wins.
64
wins. A hell
wins.
of a pace.
But I'm trending more towards the idea that they might be done, or they're going to have to be aggressively retooling, especially because it seems like Deandre Ayton is going to be out. So then you're out of a guy that was key in your run last year in the postseason. Everybody was talking about how great he played against all the other big men that they had to go up against. Not to mention CP3 has completely fallen off a cliff, and I don't know if this is something, normally you wouldn't question if CP3 was going to be able to come back and play like Chris Paul.
Yeah.
But he's getting up there in age, and for him to completely disappear in this series is worrisome. And then Devin Booker, too. There are some worries there as far as how badly this Phoenix team played at home in a Game 7 that leads you to believe, how do they readjust? How are they going to retool to move forward? Because the West is going to get tougher, just like it always does. So I'm definitely not going to completely put them out, but I am for sure trending more towards this is a Phoenix team that probably isn't going to get a better shot at the finals than they have the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree for the most part. I did write a story 2 summers ago now at this point for BVM Sports that was entitled "The Suns and Their Young Core Are a Problem." That was right after they went undefeated in the bubble, obviously prior to them acquiring Chris Paul. And that was part of the formula. They had a core led by Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson that, is going to be formidable for years to come. And, adding in a star, a fringe superstar like Chris Paul, kind of supercharge that thing. And I think that's still possible. I think the Suns, as Chris Paul's is over the hill now at this point. I think that, it's definitely possible for them to kind of bring in another star, another superstar, whether that be via free agency or trade, that can still kind of keep them in the championship window. But I think for the most part, I have to agree. I think that the Suns' best chances at a title are now behind them. And it has a lot to do with the guy you mentioned, the big man in the middle, Deandre Ayton, who is going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. Obviously, he wanted to get paid. He wanted a contract from the Suns last offseason. The Suns opted not to do that. And Sunday night in the Game 7, win or go home, at home in Phoenix against an inferior seed, an inferior team, the Dallas Mavericks, Deandre Ayton played 17 minutes and took 5 shots. I think that's very telling. So were the comments that Monty Williams had after the game when asked about, Ayton's lack of play. And, Monty Williams simply just said it's internal. I think that raises eyebrows, raises some questions. Ayton can't be happy. And I'm willing to bet that the Suns are going to let him walk this offseason. And I'm willing to bet that another Western Conference team is going to jump up to try to snag him, because not only are you going to make your team better, adding an elite big man like Deandre Ayton who's played in big games, but you're also going to make the Suns worse.
Yep.
I look at, the Dallas Mavericks, for example, and this is something that I wasn't really up to until my guy Tom Haberstroh on Twitter pointed this out. The Suns hired Luka Doncic's Slovenian national team head coach, Igor Koslaskov, as their head coach. The Suns did in 2018, obviously before Monty Williams got there. And a month later, the Suns passed on Luka Doncic to draft Deandre Ayton. Now Igor is on the Dallas Mavericks bench as an assistant. And again, I'm willing to bet that the Mavs go after Deandre Ayton this offseason. And even if they don't, Luka Doncic ain't going nowhere. The Dallas Mavericks are not going anywhere. Nope. Neither are Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Neither are Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, in the Golden State Warriors. I would throw the Nuggets, getting obviously Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray back as well to go with the Joker. And LeBron James is still in the Western Conference. So
he is still in with the Lakers.
This is still a loaded Western Conference that I just think the Suns are.
You didn't even mention the Pelicans.
No, I didn't. That was for a reason.
Well, they gave,
Pelicans don't belong in this conversation.
They gave Phoenix a run for their money,
sure did.
And they still don't have Zion.
They sure did. They deserve a little bit more respect than I just tried to give them, but I left them out for a reason nonetheless. But still, I mean, the fact remains the West is going to be strong, and I think, Phoenix, like I said, I think their days of a championship window are probably closed. There's still a lot of young talent on that team, as I mentioned, with Johnson and Bridges and obviously Booker as well. But I think we've seen the best of Chris Paul. I think what we've seen from him, particularly in this series, is kind of the Chris Paul we're going to be seeing moving forward here. Unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated, and I don't see him losing to Chris Paul at this stage. So, I have to agree. I think the Suns' window is closed for the reasons that I highlighted there.
Sun is setting.
I like that. I'm a punny guy right here. But let us know in the comments, do the Suns still have a championship in their near future, or is that window closed? Let us know in the comments. But that's going to do it for this episode of Simple Question. Catch us on tomorrow's show. But for Scott Proctor, my guy Matt Morris right here, we'll see you next.